I've heard you talk about what kind of piqued your interest.
Wait, is that coffee and beer?
Yeah, I've been switching. Well, I came in with a coffee, then Robbie Bernstein brought me a beer, and now I'm going both directions. But I got to be a little bit up and a little bit relaxed in order to get a good Michael Malice show.
Yeah, okay.
What are you drinking? Water?
Just water.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's the difference.
I have a Monster inside of me, and I'm gonna have a energy drink later.
And I'm the moderate. Look at this.
I saw the theme song to your show. Government's too big. We need to get it a nice medium size.
Medium size.
It's too big.
Medium small.
Yeah, we're not going to abolish it. It's going to make it smaller.
Have you seen all the people? And I don't even understand where this came from.
You're not even a minarchist. You're a modarchist. Modarchist.
A monarchist?
Modarchist.
Oh, modarchists. Okay. That's fair enough. Have you seen the people who I don't know where this came from, but just a lot of people have been tweeting and crediting me with your lines.
Yeah, they think they're going to troll me.
Which I just thought was a hilarious attempt to troll Michael Malice. It's like, dude, you can't.
I know. Like, do you think I'm not going to see what you're doing?
It's just not. You're not.
You can't troll me.
It's not going to work.
I got trolled last week on You're Welcome.
Who got you?
Ethan Suppley was my guest. And at the end of every show, I say, what did you like best about this episode? Because I use that as a clip, a teaser. And he goes, my welcome. And I just sat there, and they actually fucked up the edit because I just sat there and I clenched my teeth, and he had me, and I just go, cut the tape. They cut that little part at the end, so it just ends up me staring, but he got me. He got me good.
All right, so someone has officially taken down the troll.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Well, the troll. Okay, so what you said that a lot of your friends in anarchist circles were flirting with these new alt-right ideas, and that was part of the reason why you wanted to write the book.
Yes.
So what, like, these are obviously, you don't name people, but
Dave Smith, Louis J. Gomez.
Oh, Louis J. Gomez. He was already there. Louis is like, why are we holding back so much? Come on, guys.
Let's start the race war yesterday. Come on, bro. Come on, we got to start the race war.
Louis is chanting white power at Skankfest. He's all on top of this. But was there something about it to you that was like, when you saw that with your friend, what was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction is this. I'm a hipster, right? I like things that are weird. Like I have right here. I just was at the shaving store, and I have, what is it? What does this smell like to you? It's shaving soap. Can you guess what it smells like?
I have to guess, or should I smell it?
You smell it, and I'll tell you. Do you know what that is?
Yes, but why can't I
Look at the name. The name will give you a hint.
I should know. This smells like an icy...
You're close. Look at the name.
Tropical Punch Shaving Cream.
No, that's not the name.
What's the name? Aloha Smackdown?
Yeah, does that give you the clue?
No.
It's Hawaiian Punch.
Oh, that's what it is.
Right.
Yes, no.
So I like
Very
things
good. That is Hawaiian Punch.
I like things on the fringe, right? And the thing is, you'll get this one guy making this, and then 3 years later, it's going to be in Bed Bath & Beyond or Bath & Body Works, a beauty shop, whatever the fuck it's called, body shop. So I see how culture develops, just my history of Warhol and punk and all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, this is where the young intellectual energy is right now on the right. In an Obama world, these are the only people who are in any way effective at fighting back against Obama because they're having fun doing it. They're punching completely disproportionately to their numbers. And I'm like, this is going to be something in a few years. And they're also, I mean, you also saw like these blogs, they were all clearly on the spectrum because they'd be 30 paragraphs long about some, the Battle of Athens and this just like really obscure things. But they also brought receipts and they were really informed and analytical. And it was analytical in a way, not like this boomer talk, like, oh, if the Republicans redistrict, they're like, it was so past Republican and Democrat as you and I think.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is going to develop to something. And I watched it happen. I remember I was at Fox and I was talking on the host in 2014. And I said, these are the people who are going to be coming for you in a year or two. And they're like, what are you talking about? I sent them an article. They're like, I don't know what this is. And here we are, So, I mean, if it was followed clearly as night followed day.
Yeah, there was something very interesting about the, 2015, 2016 as this thing really came into the view of most people. And it caught a lot of people off guard.
Right.
I mean, it caught me off guard initially. But there was something, when you first start seeing the I don't even want to call them trolls because as you say, like... it wasn't even really trolls. It's like shit posting.
Right.
Like there'd be the people on Twitter and stuff like that where you'd see just like talking about throwing Jews in the oven and all this stuff. And I remember thinking at first being like, man, fuck this. This is just stupid and juvenile.
Right.
But then as you dug a little bit deeper, you'd be like, feel however you feel about these guys. And no question, a lot of them were flirting with fascistic ideas and stuff that you and I don't agree with. But there was an interesting intellectual conversation happening. And a lot of other areas, it's just boring. A lot of the standard boomer conservative stuff, this is just boring. I get it. There's nothing interesting about this. And as you said, there was a lot of the intellectual energy was clearly coming from this side. And then on the left, it's mostly boring too. And by the way, I'm not saying Noam Chomsky is a really interesting guy, but in the modern left, it's between the social justice warriors or the democratic socialists. There's just really nothing interesting going on there. And feel however you feel about these guys on the right, nothing new. And here you were, these guys, I had so many people, posting things when Richard Spencer first became a name that people knew of. And they'd be like, what an idiot this Richard Spencer is, left-wing people on Facebook. And you'd be like, I mean, okay, maybe you can say he's an idiot. I mean, he's having a discussion about the history of the British Empire and how this related to the rise of blah, blah. It's I don't know. Okay. I don't really think any of you guys know anything about most of this history. And to me, one of the things that really made me interested in the rise of kind of the alt-right, the new right, was that I felt like they stole the libertarian thunder.
Oh, yes.
And this really bothered me. It was heartbreaking for me in a lot of ways, but it made me think well, okay, I can't just be another person sitting here saying, you're so horrible, you're a Nazi. We've got to grapple with these ideas if we want to take it back, if we want to win this. Because it was really, it was shocking to me. I didn't see this coming. But in 2012, the libertarians had a lot of energy.
Yeah.
A lot of energy. There was the Ron Paul movement. This was, Ron Paul was breaking fundraising records. He was drawing tens of thousands of young people out to his speeches.
Who is Ron Paul?
He was a country doctor, a Texan. He's mentioned in your book.
You think of Rand Paul?
Oh, no, that's right. I'm sorry, Rand Paul. Rand Paul's pop.
Okay, Logan.
But there was, and one of the things that I loved, and it made me very optimistic for the future, and now, of course, this has all been destroyed. But in 2012, 2013, the Ron Paul people owned the internet.
Yes.
If you went to a YouTube video of anything, it could be a YouTube video of anything political, anything. Under all the comments were Ron Paul 2012, end the Fed. You know what I mean? End the wars, all this stuff. And to me, it seemed like all the intellectual energy was in this libertarian movement. We were talking about monetary policy and how Woodrow Wilson ruined the country and all these things that a lot of people didn't care about. And that was taken by the alt-right. By 2015, 2016, if you looked at YouTube comments, it was all Pepe and build the wall and deport them all, ban the Muslims, lock her up, all this stuff. And that to me was my first interest in who these guys were. You didn't really care about the Ron Paul movement, right? Or you didn't?
Not to some extent. I mean, I knew there was absolutely no possibility they were going to let him get anywhere. And even Jon Stewart, you remember, did that episode where
it's the greatest Jon Stewart piece ever.
When Ron Paul was second or third in the polls, and they literally all the news stories pretended he wasn't there. It was just absolutely amazing. Although, in all fairness, maybe they were right, because Republicans would have written the rules somehow to make sure this guy's not getting anywhere. I mean, that's pretty much clear. But yeah, so I did see. One of the reasons I wrote the book is my line is, or your line, I guess that's been attributed to you now, is you're supposed to take one red pill, not the whole bottle. Yeah. And since I have the same analysis of progressives that many of these people do, I am in a position to talk to them, some of them, even if it's 5%, and be like, yo, you've gone too far. I don't mean too far in terms of, oh my God, you're too edgy or whatever. I'm like, you drank too many come back. You can be here. You don't have to be all the way there.
Right.
Because from their point of view, it's the logical conclusion. But what I'm saying, it's not a logical confusion. It's like a snake eating its own tail, and you get the snowball effect.
Right. So it's
I'm being a moderate.
Look at you. It's very centrist of you.
Just so much centrism.
Well, but I think you're right, and I think that there's definitely something to the fact that approaching it the way you are, it actually, let's say, even if you start with the premise that this is this terrifying, horrific movement, well, then they'd still be better off to approach it the way you are, because just calling them the basket of deplorables is what feeds this is what gave them all of their fuel. I mean, I could only pray that Hillary Clinton would have gotten up in a major speech and been like, you know what the threat to the whole global order is it's these Ron Paul kids. I mean, these
yeah,
libertarians
yeah.
are the basket of deplorables. I would give
God.
every cent that I have for her to have given us
you
that
imagine?
type of juice. You know what I mean? But she gave
It's
that.
always about the juice,
So-
isn't it? The juice question. The juice question.
it's the juice. It's the juices question that we have to deal with. But that would have been the best thing we could have possibly asked for, and instead she gave it over to these guys.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I thought that was interesting.